August 2017, a month that should live in infamy, the beginning of the end for one of the best years of film I ever had. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Overly Honest Movie Reviews. My name is Chris, and as always, I try to give you guys what you want to see. Please like this video, then subscribe and follow me for more content like this. I try to cover anything and everything related to movies, both old and new. So MoviePass was founded in 2011. Unfortunately, I really didn't know about it until much later. Even so, I know that the price structures early on were a little out of my ballpark. While the idea behind the app was brilliant, the execution failed over and over again. Let me explain a little about what the company was and my journey through it. So MoviePass at its core allowed users to purchase movie tickets, ideally for the consumer at a lower price than the box office rates. When I jumped on board, it was a while after their initial switch to the $9.95 unlimited plan. This allowed the user to see one film a day for that set rate. So anywhere from 28 to 31 films a month for $9.95. I mean, there's no question about it. I don't understand why it took me as long as it did to actually get on board with this. I normally watch a lot of movies in theaters, especially when a global pandemic isn't preventing me from doing so. The thing is, though, with MoviePass, it benefited the end user to actually see more movies. I personally ended up seeing over 100 films in theaters before they eventually shuttered their doors. So I ended up getting my cost per movie down to under 75 cents a film. I saw when you take into account the yearly fee, I paid to get the service at a reduced cost, so it wasn't $9.95 a month. I don't remember exactly what it was, but they, instead of the $9.95 a month, they let it go down to like $7.95 or something a month if you paid for an entire year. I realized that I was unique. While not the only one to do this, I'm sure many others got their per film cost even lower than the 75 cents that I did. I know MoviePass and then the parent company, the analytics firm of Helios and Matheson, was hoping people wouldn't take advantage of it, let alone to the extent that I did. The biggest problem with MoviePass's new price structure is that they put the cart before the horse. When changing to this $9.95 price point, they had planned to work out deals with major theater chains that would help offset the cost per film for MoviePass. However, most movie chains saw MoviePass as a virus instead of a crutch to help the industry. Whichever way you look at it, in the end, it's kind of ironic because they ended up forcing the hand of most major chains, including AMC, their biggest opponent, to create their own more costly subscription services. I could do an entire video on AMC A-List, but it would be a region-specific argument against it, and I don't think that's fair. While I'm not complaining, I live in an area that offers pretty affordable movie tickets for your standard movie. The cost of A-List would mean I would have to see probably 4 to 5 movies a month, which is actually more than the local AMC to me offers. The nearest one, which is ridiculously close, I mean, I'm talking almost across the street, only offers a small selection of movies. They've got 7 screens, and they're usually showing the major blockbusters on 2 screens apiece. So, that's like 4 movies at a time, and they hold on to these movies for almost a month. Again, I'm not complaining. I just wish that AMC would look into regional pricing like MoviePass ended up doing. Okay, so back to MoviePass. They ended up reporting over 2 million subscribers in February of 2018. That's almost $20 million a month for them. That, unfortunately, wasn't enough to keep them above water. In July of 2018, they were forced to temporarily shut down while scrambling to find another loan to keep them floating. That day personally let me see the writing on the wall. Quickly, MoviePass started implementing a series of restrictions. They switched the unlimited users to only 3 films a month, which in most every case would still save the end user at least some money. So, I personally never complained about it, but I could see that some would. Then the real beginning of the end. Along with the 3 films per month limitation, they began adding blackout dates, limited seating availability per theater, and then their last final gasp for air was changing the model of only certain films being available on certain days to certain users and rotating those. So you could never really plan ahead. You had to wake up that morning, look at your app, see what was available, hope that that time aligned with when you were available, go to the theater, and hope that once you were at the theater that time and ticket was still available. While I only had to deal with this issue for about a month out of my entire year, I know many others signed up later and had to deal with the restructuring for a much longer period. As mentioned earlier, they also set up their plans regionally. So living in the Midwest, I probably got the best of both worlds, the lower ticket prices in general, and probably the lower focus on restrictions. I'm assuming they probably enforce the restrictions in New York, California, possibly even Chicago. I live in Illinois, but I don't live near Chicago, which I know a lot of people don't get. The entire state of Illinois isn't Chicago, but still. On September 14th of that year, MoviePass shut its app down, and a few months later, the parent company filed for bankruptcy. The story of MoviePass actually went a lot deeper, though. In January of 2018, they announced at Sundance that they were going to start MoviePass Ventures to then co-acquire the rights to certain films for release. This list included 3 films, the first of which was The Row, which I know literally nothing about. The second was American Animals, which is one of my favorite movies, especially of that year. The third was Gotti, which was that John Travolta train wreck about John Gotti that just very poor decision making. There were even theories that MoviePass was paying its users to give Gotti better reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know the details. I don't really care about the details. I've never watched Gotti, so I can't personally say my opinion on it. The most interesting thing to me was, while doing research for this video, just a month ago, a docuseries had started being in pre-production from the works of just showed my age. Mark Wahlberg's company, Unrealistic Ideas. They did a previous documentary with HBO, I believe, on McDonald's, maybe. But I'm definitely excited to see what interesting stories they're able to dig up. As there have been some disagreement, the ending of MoviePass, some people said it ended up hurting theaters, while others said, and these are unbiased sources, this isn't Helios Matheson, this isn't MoviePass. They said that MoviePass ended up paying the theaters throughout their entire lifespan, outside of maybe some issues towards the end when they ran out of money. So, that actually would have been a huge help to theaters, because not only did it cover the cost of the tickets, but then a lot of people, when they go to the movie, buy concessions. Concessions are what keeps theaters in business, in case you didn't know that. Theater chains don't make their money off of the movies. I mean, they make a percentage, but their real money, the money that keeps the lights on, keeps the doors open, keeps people coming back to the theater, are the concessions. That's why you pay $6 to $10 for a large drink. These chains want to keep their doors open, keep people coming in. With that, I ask you, did you try MoviePass? What was your experience like? Did you get your money's worth or more? I personally only suffered one snafu that I wasn't prepared for during that entire year. I went to a theater and I couldn't check in. It wasn't transferring the money to my card, so I had to pay for it out of pocket. MoviePass did end up giving me the money back, so I don't even know that I'd consider that a snafu. Did you have more issues with the system? I've heard a lot of people had issues almost through the entirety, not getting their cards, the app not working, all sorts of things like that. So I'm curious, and were those people ones that signed up towards the end when MoviePass had arguably other issues as well? Thank you for joining me. Please comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe and follow me if you want to see more videos like this.